International Director of the British People's League, speaking at you on this rainy June day, June 28th, a few days before Dominion of Canada Day, July 1st, 2015. Today's topic is Canada dying? Dying Canada? Doom and gloom again, Beattie. Oh, doom and gloom again. Well, show me the roses and I'll smile. We all know what's going on. Degradation of our ancestry, of our beliefs, etc. Just as in America, the Confederate flag being smeared, all as a result of some young lunatic killing innocent people. Everything's going haywire, upside down. July 1st, a few days from now, the Fathers of Confederation, 1867, set up our Dominion of Canada. Dominion of Canada Day. Fathers of Confederation. Dare we call them Confederates? Confederate fathers? They were the fathers of Confederation. Big grin. Okay. Our sympathy, sincere sorrow to the families of those grieving over the passing away of their kin who were murdered in Tunisia. 15 British stock slaughtered just a few days ago by the, what's the word to call them? Screwballs, nut bars. I did suggest in the June 5th video, why not explore our own people's native lands? Those in Canada explore the motherland. Those in the motherland could explore Canada, New Zealand, and Australia, our kith and kin, or the South. Parts that are white, that is. How dare I say such a thing? But what happened in Tunisia with those of our British stock being slaughtered is going on throughout the Western world, isn't it? We don't need to repeat these facts on this show. Dinosaur News, brought to you today by the British People's League, June 28th, 2015, a few days before Dominion of Canada Day. Is Canada dying? Dying Canada? We've gone full circle for a few minutes here. You know, when communism was at its worst, slaughtering people as well as the modern day maniacs, it took an Eastern European country to wake us all up. It woke this boy up. I was pretty young at the time, but I saw it on television. I speak of the Hungarian Revolution in 1956. The Hungarian Revolution against communism in 1956. Those brave students, workers, and seniors standing up in the streets against Soviet tanks, crying out, pleading for the rest of the world to listen to them. The horrors of communism. Did it work? No, it didn't work. People were too busy playing golf, or my own family watching other shows on TV. What do you care, Johnny? Why are you concerned? Well, I saw it on TV, students being massacred by Soviet tanks. The Hungarian people were trying to warn the West as to the dangers of communism. Hungary's leading the way again. 2015. Within the last couple of weeks, the Hungarian government has said, we've had enough African immigrants. We're not going to have any more. We're putting a stop to it now, even if we have to put up a wall. Imagine. Hungarians again, speaking out. I mean, we have to give credit where credit's due to our own kith and kin in Australia. Australia were the very first to stop the invasions from the Third World. As we've said in previous shows, Australian boats meet the boat people out at sea, put them into fresher, I don't know what you call them, amphibian setups, and shoot them right back to the shores of Indonesia and dump them back on the bloody beaches from whence they came. So Australia gets full credit for starting off. That's why you don't hear much about it in the news, do you? Oh no. Heaven forbid give those of British stock some credit. So they were the first. Australia is the first to stand up and be counted and say no more immigration from the third world. And then, as I say, Hungary has shocked the so-called European Union, shocked them all. We're not going to allow the African invasion any further. An invasion it is, folks. So you think, well, what's your problem? British People's League in Canada, in central Ontario, cottage country. What's your problem? Are you being invaded in the villages there? Not yet, but slowly. And the ones we're getting, of course, are all dignified little businessmen. But they're slowly seeping in. They're just not our kind of people, that's all. They got a different way of life. Rudyard Kipling said it all with the poem, A Stranger in My Gates. You know, you never know when they're going to be called back by their foreign gods. I'm not exaggerating. We all read the news. It's a standard line on this show now, isn't it? You all know what's going on. People are still nervous to take part. Was discussing the British People's League BPL van plan with a couple more young fellows yesterday, and they'll be in on it, but they were shocked that some of their friends were talking early 20s here. We're too afraid to be seen. When we hit the small villages with our picket signs in front of the post offices saying, no more, stop. Stop third world immigration now. We may have a donation waiting in the wings to arrange for the first of our van plan demonstrations hitting the small villages. And we've got a few nibbles from people who are anxious to take part. We're miles behind Britain, the motherland, in that regard. They send brave young patriots to the streets of London protesting, right to the eye of the monster in what used to be our fair domain of Britain. But Canada, same boat. I mean, ironic to use the word boat, isn't it, when it's the boat people doing it. So they're not crossing the Atlantic Ocean, but guess what? Once they get to Britain, they find a way to trickle into Canada from America as well. On the good news front, Candor, our buddies at Candor, our good mates, Candor magazine in the motherland, Britain, they've just come out with a fresh new issue. I haven't yet got mine in the mail. It'll probably come in the day after this broadcast or whatever. But it's a fresh new issue, so check out candor.org.uk, C-A-N-D-O-U-R, candor.org.uk. We do feature the photo from the front page. We've shared it on Facebook, John Beattie Facebook. So I've said in the past, check the right-hand column of the homepage of the British People's League, and you'll see the Facebook link, click-in spot. So again, Dominion of Canada Day coming up. What's to celebrate? We know what's happened to marriage. Soon the Christian Bible is going to be outlawed as hate literature. Anyone who tries to stop Sodom and Gomorrah is considered a screwball. 2% of the population have gone wacko in the regard to marriage, etc. The details, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm not afraid to roar it all here. I don't want to give the perverts and the weirdos the pleasure of even talking too much about them. Just to say we know what's going on. We asked for a bit of a spark in the last broadcast, and we've had some spunky emails, that's for sure. I have an academic interview coming up with the world of academia. I don't even know if it'll be out in public print. It's to do with our networking procedure, anyone who isn't quite in the flow of the normal mainstream. So we'll let you know how that turns out. At one point, a year or two ago, I said, to hell with interviews with the public press and the public media. We've got our own internet world now, our own people, our own networking. But hey, we've got to get the word out there. So if I get smeared, well, that's too bad, because it always boomerangs on the opposition, as it did when I ran for the position of Deputy Reeve up here in Minden, Ontario, cottage country. And yes, we'll brag a bit of all the white candidates that ran, a few in Ontario. Yours truly achieved the highest proportion of the vote, 4.7, 4.8% of the vote, without spending a dime. But the point is, as I've said in other broadcasts, over 200 votes, 214 votes. It varied between 214 and 217, whatever. But all those vicious smears helped, didn't hurt a bit. Helped us get votes. So henceforth, I will not pass around my thoughts to our list, our confidential list of advisors, should I talk to this news media outlet or that or whatever. Hell with it, we'll talk to them all. Face the enemy head on. Why do we call the public news media the enemy? Well, who do you think has created the atmosphere to allow all the weirdos to rise up amongst us, rising from the gutters? That old expression, when they tried to tear the beautiful old British Canadian building in downtown Toronto, old City Hall. I attended protest meetings proudly with a lot of friends, and an architect stood up bravely, proudly, and said that the maggots and the slime will rise from the sewers and destroy all that is beautiful, all we have created. Well, we're going to put a stop to it. We of the British People's League, along with our friends in networking, legally, of course, we're going to put a stop to it legally, by linking our white villages that still remain. Keep our white villages, keep our villages majority white. I put the word majority in there because of the few newcomers from the third world who are there. We don't want to intimidate them, of course not. You never know what laws could be found. So when we picket the post offices, and I say the post offices because the post office, of course, is representative of the federal government, any federal government in Canada, whoever comes along at the next election. Keep our villages majority white, and we've got to link the villages. Link them and link them and link them. The peripherals of the multi-cult 6 cities. The villages that are still fresh and alert, where we still have white hockey teams, white young people playing sports teams, white young people in the school systems, white young people out and about, the fresh villages. That's our last hope, but it's a good hope. Not only is it a good hope, it will save Western civilization, just as the white villages in Britain will get together, just as the white villages in America will get together. We've just begun to fight back, legally, of course. Legal. It seems every show, every video, the Dinosaur news videos here lately, I've been about third way through, and I say, well, I don't know how I'm going to fill the rest of today. I'm just reviewing the same old. Oh yes, on Dominion Canada Day, they'll all be out, the third worlders especially, the land of milk and honey that they're milking, but they didn't pick the stones, the stone boats to drag the stones out of the hardcore fields full of rocks. The third worlders didn't plow the fields that originated the farm fields of Canada. No, they want to come in when all the work's done, the land of milk and honey. Sir John Alexander MacDonald had this in similarity with the Confederacy of the United States of America: keep Canada white. And as so many American good blog shows are pointing out, the Civil War in the States, the Confederate fight back, wasn't to do with slavery whatsoever. It was the invasion of states' rights. The Union aspect, Abraham Lincoln's people still had slaves. Wasn't to do with slavery at all. It was the invasion of states' rights. Just as the so-called Charter of Rights crookedly boomed on us by Pierre Trudeau in 1982 is being used by the so-called Supreme Court of Canada, unrepresentative of the public, of our public. But these headlines are all for you to read. Beattie Boys supposed to get on here to inspire you with doom and gloom and then fight back enthusiasm. Doom and gloom and then fight back enthusiasm. Do it now. Why wait? Why wait? Get together with your friends in the coffee shops, in the villages, and discuss these YouTubes. Do us all a favor and pass the YouTubes around. Share these YouTubes with your friends on the internet and with your friends on Facebook. So again, extreme sorrow and sympathy for the families of those who lost their relatives a few days ago. The slaughter in Tunisia, 15 of British stock. It's every day, it's everywhere. But our villages are still majority white. We've just got to link them together. Get the villages rolling. And then down the road, when we have enough villages rolling, enough villagers in our camp, networking with our British People's League. When that day comes, then we have a little surprise for the multicultural cities. We'll be renting buses and heading down to picket in the downtown core, suggesting politely that third worlders go back where they came from. We don't want them anymore. Be the village people, the few farmers that are left. The white flighters, oh yes, white flighters who don't like to talk about it. Oh, we left the city because of the traffic. Yeah, right. Tell that to your buddies at the Legion Hall. You left Toronto because of the third world invasion. And you know, the French Canadians are having the same problem. Co-founders of Canada, our brothers at arms, legal arms. Words are arms too, aren't they? French Canadians losing their culture. The Native Indians are swamped. I had one native suggest to me, well, you idiots took it over from us, and now you're screwing it up. But many natives would work with us and do talk with us and network with us. So there's the three old core: British Canadians, French Canadians, and Native Canadians. In the motherland, of course, they've got their own stock from 2,000 years, which has been proved by DNA. Britons of ancient times. We'll get through all this. We don't have to do too much to alarm people because the enemy's doing it. The third worlders, the invasion from Africa, Somalians scattered throughout Canada. A good proportion of them are crooks. There may be a few good ones, of course there probably are. But it's the bad apples that scare everyone. Well, perhaps it would be best if we just continue to try and help them in Africa, but not with money. Teach them birth control. Teach them habits of Western civilization. Or is it impossible to teach Africans the way of Western civilization? Is it impossible? Oh, you know what I'm skirting around, all this phony baloney and soft talk. You know what I'd like to be raving. Ship 'em back, Jack. Okay, that's pretty well it for today. We'll be talking at you, and just remember, is Canada dying? On Dominion of Canada Day, just remember, is Canada dying? Keep it legal. God save the Queen. At you next.